It's Thursday, about 8:15 in the morning. Trying to get these videos done before the day starts because I get tied up with my regular job. But anyway, I was looking at some stuff on the internet yesterday, and they were talking about how Bruce Lee, after all his training, came to the conclusion that traditional American boxing and wrestling were really all that you needed for self-defense, because traditional martial arts, there's just too many techniques involved. I mean, it would take forever. I mean, you'd have to train constantly every day to become extremely proficient in a lot of those techniques, which I know from my own experience. I'm 56. I started when I was 19 and wrestled in high school. The first thing I ever started in was Taekwondo, and I thought that was like the coolest thing in the fucking world. And all the jump spinning kicks and, flashy side kicks, double round kicks, and, all that kind of stuff. But they didn't have we did some punching and hand strikes, but it wasn't really enough to compete with somebody that was, say, an MMA fighter. And that's another thing. Most proficient MMA fighters have an edge over any traditional martial artists because they've got the ground skills, the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu, and they've got the stand-up skills with the boxing, the elbow strikes. And that's why in street combat systems we concentrate more on the basic strikes to the parts of the body that are going to do the most damage and help you escape from an attack or a possible attack before it even gets started. So today I'm just going to go over the basic jab, left jab, right cross, right jab, left cross, depending on whether you're right-handed or left-handed. But when you do punch in traditional boxing, you always want to strike with these two knuckles first. That way you protect your hand, and I've talked about it before. You don't have to worry about breaking your hand so much when you punch with the first two knuckles. Left hand, right hand, whatever. And basically, same with the jab. You're throwing that jab, you're snapping that jab out, and then you're coming in with that right cross, or you can come in with that right hook. And that's another thing. A lot of people don't throw the hook properly. If you visualize, it's like if you were hitting a tree, you're gonna chop a chunk of that tree out as you're throwing that punch. And that's why, like I said, I concentrate more on the open hand strikes because they're easier for everybody to do, and you're going to incur less damage on your hand by throwing those type of strikes. But I'm just, for those of you who are interested in the boxing, traditional boxing, you drop that weight 50-50, keep your chin tucked and your shoulder up, protect if there's a punch coming in this way, you can block it, lift your hand up, etc. But basically you're just throwing that jab out, lunging forward, and then throwing that cross. And basically that's it. That's the most two common punches in boxing that are used all the time. You'll see those in MMA, on UFC, etc. So basically you're throwing that jab, and you see, I don't use gloves, but I've been doing it for a long time. My hands are so conditioned I don't even really feel it. And that thing, that rubber head is hard as a fucking rock. It's not the same, hitting this is worse than hitting a human. But you may want to get some gloves, from Dick's Sporting Goods or Walmart. Get some bag gloves or some MMA gloves before you start tearing your fucking hands up. And just move around the bag, switch. And that's pretty much it. And I'm always aiming for the chin. It might be, if you haven't had a lot of experience boxing, it might be sloppy and feel awkward at first, but it just comes with practice. And you can do the same thing. You can start if you just got a regular bag that's easy to hit. But I always suggest a bob because you want to simulate actually hitting a human target, or if that's something you can't afford, get some punching mitts, focus mitts. They're pretty cheap. You can get them for 20 or 30 bucks. You can get them off the internet. and get somebody to hold it or strap it to a pole or a tree, and that'll give you a target that's padded and easy to hit and won't fuck up your hands. You know, if you have a regular bag, that way you can practice jabs to the body with that right cross. And just do that over and over again, switch up. Work on your speed and your power. You're not going to be freaking Muhammad Ali or Floyd Mayweather overnight, but it doesn't take much to hit somebody in the face or the body and stop them from attacking you and fucking you up and sending you to the hospital or the fucking funeral home. So again, you need to practice. You need to get in shape. You need to create a better diet for yourself so you don't end up like all these other overweight people. I almost used the F word. And apparently that's not politically correct nowadays. But anyway, I'm gonna start adding more food. I'm gonna show you, like a lot of people, you know, a good thing to eat with your meals is rice. And regular traditional way to cook rice is boiling it, which is a pain in the fucking ass. And here we go through a ton of rice a week, and probably a year or so ago, I discovered packets of rice at Walmart, and there's two different kinds that we use. One's kind of a sticky rice and one's kind of a fluffy rice. And basically you just tear the edges, put it in the microwave for a minute to 2 minutes, and it's the best freaking rice I've ever had. Better than any restaurant I've ever had for the most part. And you add that with chicken, eggs, beef, fish, vegetables if you're a vegetarian, and it's awesome. And I'll add that in with this later this morning. I'll show you the two different brands that we've used and the ones we stick with. They have different flavors, and these are, like I said, are the two best ones that we found as far as taste and consistency. Like I said, one's sticky, one's fluffy. It just depends on what your preference is, and throw a little soy sauce on it, and it's fucking awesome. Anyway, practice those moves. Tomorrow we're gonna go over uppercuts and elbows. Anyway, have a great Thursday, and I'll see you soon. Welcome back, warriors. These are the two types of rice I was talking about in the earlier video. The jasmine on the left is a more sticky rice. Takes about a minute and 30 seconds to cook in the microwave after you tear the tabs at the top. And the Tilda basmati rice is a whiter, fluffier type rice. If that's what you want. Me, myself, I prefer the jasmine rice. It's got more like a sticky type of rice, like I said before, and I just like the taste of it. Everybody else in the household likes the basmati rice, though I actually eat either or. We also tried I think Uncle Ben's or Rice-A-Roni in a packet. It's more oily. It's less natural than these two. It's edible, but it's not my favorite. But these work well with, you know, beef, chicken, fish, vegetables, eggs, etc. If you have any questions about it, let me know.